Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
You don't see the curvature of the earth. That stuff is flat.
Globusters taking over. Bye-bye, moonlight and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is. Globusters taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is. Get the shovel for the space hubble, piecing up the puzzle. Need to burst your bubble, evil gonna crumble, yeah. Sit down, be humble, got the body by the fumble. You'll get mad cause I just fight about your uncle.
And then they call me the liar. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable the pathetic techniques that they have to use to prove their heliocentric model.
Bob shot the president, Jaren got the evidence. It was slaying Jesuits and Sasharkum is evident. That the earth electric and it's resonant. Your residence is heaven sent. I hope to settle in like some sediment. If we so wrong, why they lying to discredit it? That's not too intelligent. That's a guy, not an in court, but we ain't really in the settlement. It's time to awaken from the pseudoscience sedatives.
Globusters taking over. Bye-bye, moonlight and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is. Globusters taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is.
Inner World Productions. in a world. What's up, everybody? Hopefully the audio is A1. So I just wanted to show you guys the videos. Part 2 coming soon. And we'll just cover a bunch of the stuff that I tried to cover. And I'll get into the depths of that. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, hopefully we have better service now. Because we're part of civilized society. And we actually have Wi-Fi. Audio, video, good. Cool, bro. So the name of the stream is War. And yeah, so anyway, I will finish the stream at Rockfin, and there's a stream below, or there's a link to the stream below. So shouts out to all the legends over there now. What's up, Sam, my man, Alan? Have you ever looked into Smart Dust? Sort of. Cool. So hopefully you guys like the morning streams. It's pretty much just the way I got to go now. So cool. Let's just talk about some of the stuff. Like I said, I'll finish the stream at Rockfin where we can talk like adults, and it's free. And so to cover that, someone was asking about the paywall. It's like, if the channel is supported and sustainable without it, almost all the content will just be free on Rockfin. It'll just be a normal thing that to finish the stream where we can say what we want to for a few minutes. It'll be on Rockfin. And I will have some exclusive content there because when I talked to them, I told them I would. And I just like to keep my word. So anyway, you can go to Rockfin right there. And you can watch it for free. So anyway, let's see what we got here for you, ladies and gentlemen. So everyone's freaking out about war. Everyone probably assumes they know what this stream's about because everyone's just been hit with a new psychological operation that everyone's talking about. To be honest, Kai and I completely ignored it. Like, just completely ignored it for over a week. Like, anyway, to summarize how I feel about that, I figured I'd show you guys a picture. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Well, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? I will say, at least Putin looks like disturbed. You know, like at least he's like, this is weird. That's pretty much how I feel about that. But apparently, I think this picture is from Ukraine. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, though. I think this picture is from Ukraine. And maybe this is more why Ukraine's important. What is that? That's insane, bro. Something crazy happened over there. You know, what is this? What is that? What was that used for? Why can't we still build those? That's crazy. Oh, what is that? What is that? Bro, what is that? Look how dope that looks. Interesting. So I'm going to do a stream that covers that as well. This is me just telling you guys what I'm going to do in the future. So we'll have a clones part 2 where we'll really, because I'll have actual internet. And I'm even getting a little Ethernet cable and everything. We should be good. For the next month, we should be good to make good streams. So anyway, clones part 2, and then I'm going to cover that, and I'm going to give my take on it. I think that a lot of people have done good work on it, and they find the anomalies in the buildings and the dates that they say they built them and the resources that they say built them with, even though physically impossible, and we still can't replicate it. And now we have little bitty thin walls of wood that don't last at all, and they have stone buildings that would last forever. And they were built with geometric patterns that are identical to cymatic patterns that you would utilize if you were trying to use some physical structure in the material world to harness any type of energy or vibration or frequency. And where I'm at now is I think the use case actually required people, because there is no electromagnetic source better than people other than nature itself and the earth itself. And the earth is nothing more than a bigger representation of how our body works. And I would say the earth is sentient. Oh, you're crazy. Okay, cool story, man. Go wear your mask. You know, like, you can't kill the earth. It's very resilient. And resilience is a characteristic of sentience. The earth is basically alive. And it's just, we have the same type of field. So anyway, I told someone this a few years ago, my friend. I was like, you know, if I was ever going to try to risk my life to actually really dive in and pursue not just how to harness electricity freely, but how to facilitate it to the people prior to it being suppressed, which is assuredly a death sentence, by the way, of course. But anyway, I said that the way that you would do it is you would harness the electromagnetic energy of people. When you're in the house, the electricity works. When you're using the device, it works. And if people just understood it, which they would naturally progress, right? It would just be a normal thing. The source of energy is what you're emitting into the etheric background that is everywhere. And I think that's what they knew. And I think a lot of people cover a lot of stuff with these buildings, and it's interesting, but they never really addressed the main thing. What is it? Like, what were they using those buildings for? They clearly lied about the buildings, but what were they used for? Like, what, you know, the organs and the cymatic patterns the structures are built in is for a reason. It's for a reason. That's how it would just be a gigantic generator. And if you had people in there, all, let's say, singing at a certain vibration, then you would have a huge harnessing of energy, because the ether would be forced into cymatic patterns in and outs of your location, emitting the frequency. The ether, the way the ether intertwines with the material world would be the particular cymatic patterns that you needed to harness the field. Oh, how dare you. So of course you could connect these things all over the place. If you did it right, there's no telling what reach you would have. Of course, as you get further out, it gets weaker. How dare you? I think this is why we have star forts all around the north, what they call the North Pole, because that's the ultimate source of energy. Why would you, if you understood how the world works, and coincidentally we're not allowed to go there, they're probably not hiding anything though, and if you were able to go there and knew what would happen, well, you would see a toroid like this fountain behind me. You would see this in the center of the earth on the surface. You wouldn't see a literal fountain if you could look into the ether. If you could bring a giant ferrocell to the center. Now, there probably is a physical manifestation of this as well. So at night, Kai and I were sitting out here, and you can see the reflection, the inverse, of course, of the fountain. That's what it would be. This plane, this water, is where you live. The inertial plane, that fountain, is the magnetic field. Okay, so when you see the reflection exactly the opposite, that's exactly what it would look like. If you wanted to look at it from a different angle, it's argued as to exactly what type of magnet the Earth is, but it's clearly a permanent magnetic field, which is why the globe cannot explain it. You couldn't have our magnetic field on a spinning globe. I'm sorry. If you can't accept that, this is not for you. This is the next part of the knowledge if you want to increase. The plane of this water, clearly this water's flat. This lake was man-made, almost assuredly. Well, how do you make a lake? You dig in the ground, and then you fill it with water, and the water always levels out. So this lake is flat. We have streetlights going in a circle around them. They are all the exact same height, and they're all the exact same height above the level water. Every part of this is flat. If this is the Earth, that is where you live. That fountain, which goes all up in the sky and keeps going and gets wider and is huge, is you looking in the ether, the electromagnetic field that has an inertial plane split through it. Anyway, so if you knew that, you would build things based on an equidistant pattern around the center if you were going to harness energy. Certainly interconnected. You would simply harness the energy from the center based on a certain radius and with equidistant relay around it. There are star forts built. Of course, they're not perfectly aligned with the north all the time. They're just a little bit different. Well, our North Pole is wrong. That's why you're not allowed to go there. That's why there's no actual recording of a geographic location called the North Pole with a 9-degree zenith angle to Polaris. That would be the most infamous measurement ever done. We give NASA $60 million a day and they went to the moon in the 60s and they're going to Mars, but we can't go to the center of the surface of the Earth. We can't get a time lapse of the star trails around Polaris. That would be the most infamous picture ever. This is just like how you would have live streams 24/7 from the moon looking at the Earth. You would have live streams showing an eclipse from the outside if you were really in outer space. The reason that you don't get what you're supposed to in the center is if you look at the northern lights, they're not even in the current center. The northern lights aren't centered. The geomagnetic equator moves not centered with that. The magnetic flux and declination lines that we utilize to navigate don't align with that. What they told us the North Pole is wrong, hence why you can't commercially or privately explore it within 500 miles of each direction of the center. Now, everyone's talking about Russia and America, so if you understand what I just talked about, it's very important to understand the context of what's going on with all that. It should be something disregarded. Russia and America both have declassified from their governments that they work together pretending that they're not working together to make sure their populations are compliant. 40-year Cold War. It's declassified, though. It's not like we have to argue about it. It's declassified. They worked together. So why would we believe all of a sudden they're not working together? Anyway, speaking of Russia and the United States, if you think you live on a globe that defies physics, this is this map that's completely disproportionate and doesn't work at all right here. And this shows you Russia and the United States, and everyone's sending this around all scared. Just to remind you, Russia's super scared, super close, be scared. Do you guys see this little line right here? This is the time zone line. This is based on the sun, of course. That's how we get quote unquote time, you know, conceptual quantification of passing that men have come up with based on the sky. You see why it's so crooked? You see how the line's so crooked? Because this is fake and wrong. So yeah, it's just like how you can have an island 20 miles away from each other in a 3-hour different time set or sunset time. How's that work on a globe? How's that map? If there's an island, and there's one 20 miles away, and the sunset time is 3-hour difference. How does that work? They lied about the maps, bro. It's pretty obvious. We have crooked lines all over them. Anyway, there's the center. Okay, Russia and the United States have to work together, as do Canada, to patrol the center. No, they don't work together. They're just all in the biggest, longest lasting peace treaty in human history, signed in 1959, that now has almost 60 countries, including China, in agreement with it. China, Russia, the United States, Japan, every major world superpower in the world have all signed this treaty, but they're enemies. Why are they all in the United Nations? Why does the United Nations show you that the Earth is flat? Why does the United Nations forget the Antarctic continent? How did the United Nations become so incompetent they left an entire continent off the map that represents the world? Because Antarctica is not some little continent on the bottom of a ball. It shows you on the map what it is. That's why there's a giant white ring around it. No. The United Nations no, that doesn't count. Okay. The reason that, we've sacrificed everything we have to go around and tell people this, because when they hear it, they automatically assume that you're like crazy or whatever, because they're brainwashed. But we were too, so you have to be empathetic with them. It does sound crazy when you first hear it, but the reason that we sacrifice everything that we do to go tell people this, as embarrassing as it is in public society, with the normalization of societal ostracism based on anything that the mainstream didn't teach you, even though they come out and admit everything they taught you was wrong every 10 years. But the reason it's important is Not one person that found out about the Earth that went and physically measured the surface or made long distance observations or shot lasers dozens of miles over lakes frozen with no curvature obstructing it at all, see mountains 300 miles away. Anyone that's actually done that, anyone that actually takes time lapse of the star trails, that's actually just went and looked at the Earth and found out that we weren't told the truth about it, they are not freaking out about Russia and Ukraine. No one is. Like, we're the people that notice, why did CNN just post a picture saying first casualty from Ukraine, and the same exact dude was posted as supposedly dying in another event 10 years ago? The same exact selfie. Did the dude time travel? Why are they showing us people in Ukraine with fake guns? If it's like a movie and all of a sudden the Ukrainian president is Tom Cruise in the movie, maybe you should be skeptical. It's crazy that CNN and Fox News disagree on the color of the sky, but they all agree we should go to war. You know, it's the same trick, just in the 21st century version. It's sad because I have friends that died. My dad missed my birth for it. We're just going to sit here and do it again. We're going to watch these little people that would never go to war, that would and they don't care. We're statistics to them, bro. So, you know, that's the reason I titled this stream War is because the war is not between Ukraine and Russia or the United States. The war is not physical. Okay? The war is spiritual, metaphysical. And don't listen to anyone that tells you they got it all figured out because they have a religion that they adhere to. And religion just man-made. But that doesn't mean that, say, the scriptures are, or that the truth is, or that the actual creator is, you know. So I hope that makes sense to you. Like, when people have confined their worldview, right, based on dogma, they really have no choice but to try to include other people in that confinement, because if they can't logically do that, or at least convince themselves it's logical to do that, then their worldview crumbles. I know I'm just all over the place. Anyway, here's the magnetic field. So you know when you get into the south, compasses don't work too great. Which, of course, you know, to use a compass, you have to hold it horizontal. Hey, if I'm on a globe and I'm using a compass and I have to hold it horizontal and I'm towards the top of the ball, if I go down to the equator and I use the compass horizontal, is my compass pointing out into space? Is there horizontal on a sphere? They're going to come out and admit they lied about the Earth. That's the funniest part. They're going to admit they lied about space. So, like, the reason I entitled this War is because the war is in the mind. It's the war of the mind now. It's always been the war of the mind. We can look at World War II, war of the mind. Cold War, war of the mind. World War II was a war of the mind. And yeah, and my great-granddad was there. So miss me with the little, oh, how dare you. It was a mind of the war. Oh, we dropped a nuclear bomb and videotaped it in black and white, and it didn't damage the footage or the camera. And we had firebombed them the entire summer, just like all the other countries did. They reported that they got firebombed, but magically on the 9th and 11th, we dropped a brand new type of bomb that came from a dude that thought space and time could bend and warp, and he could attribute conceptual abstractions to have physical properties within some magical phenomena that makes everything happen. He forgot to wear his clothes. People praise him and say his name is Einstein. They actually say, oh, you're an Einstein, sarcastically, to pretend that you're not smart because he's such a genius. But anyway, so they dropped this magical bomb, okay, which Nikola Tesla, who gave you the electrical grid that you have, disintegrated atoms with billions of volts and said that would never happen. But what does he know? He just literally created the very electrical grid we still use to this day. He was just a literal genius that could open the book and then close it and have it all memorized. But Who needs that guy? We have a dude that forgot to wear clothes with his tongue sticking out a lot and never brushed his hair. So the point that I'm making, because I always get distracted, I digress, but World War II, the narrative was just fear propaganda. And so, no, they dropped nuclear bombs. I was there. No, you weren't. You weren't there. Just like you didn't land on the moon. I don't care if you're a boomer. You still didn't land on the moon. You didn't even see it. You didn't even see it. Just like you didn't see JFK get assassinated because no one saw it. It wasn't even aired for 8 years. That's how bad the propaganda is. People start believing things that literally didn't happen. They tell each other, I saw it. I saw it. I remember that. I remember that. It's like the people that can't accept they lied about 9/11 because they watched the video of the towers on 9/11. I'm like, okay, bro, like, calm down. Russia notified Japan that they were going to invade with a million soldiers on the ground from the north. Russia let Japan know we're backing out of our peace agreement and we will commit to invade tomorrow. And that's the day that Japan surrendered. Oh, just coincidentally the same day we dropped nuclear. No, there were 1 million troops, Russian troops invading on the ground from the north. The United States made it illegal to even report that. Only one journalist was allowed to report the nuclear bombs in Hiroshima. One journalist. And if you went and reported it without permission, you could be arrested and tried even up to capital punishment for treason. And Japan said they got firebombed. And there was a train running the very next day. Vegetation continued to grow there, and animals were perfectly fine. But it worked because to this day, all they have to do is say the word nuclear and everyone gets scared. Oh, we need to go kill people because they have brown skin and we can say the word nuclear. Weapons of mass destruction. Oh, never mind. They're not over there. But we got to go control these people. We got to go take their freedoms away. Nuclear, nuclear, nuclear. That's the point that I'm making. It's just a word that scares you. If you want to control someone, you put them in fear. Emotion overrides logic. It's very simple mind control tactic. So they still use that one to this day. For who here knew? Because like I'm 29. People my age don't even know this. The Cold War, if you Google it, how long was the Cold War? It'll say 40 years. 40 years they propagandized our parents. 40 years. Be scared of this, be scared of that. Okay, why is Russia and the government working together, though, behind the scenes if we're fighting? Now it's declassified, but no one cares. It's been too long. They just have to wait 20 years, declassify it, and nothing matters. It's all good. It's kind of like if you tell someone, how come America was working with Russia in the 30s, and they said that they determined an approximation method to determine the brightness of the firmament, and the approximation method was proven accurate, meaning there's a firmament on the Earth, and they, in the 30s, developed an approximation method proven accurate to know the exact brightness of the firmaments at different times, at different locations, from different angles, terrestrially observing. Oh, but they hate each other. No, dude, it's all stupid. You guys, it's so bad. It's so bad. All they have to do with the news now is just write a movie script. People are watching the Ukraine-Russia thing like a Tom Cruise movie. They're like, oh, did you hear what the Ukraine? They're not even trying to hide it. They got pageant models holding guns. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. These guys, do you think the same week that everyone around the country started removing and repealing the mask mandates for children, there's a big thing going on with Russia to distract you? Do you think that the very day, 2 days ago, that they were signed the gigantic new pandemic response plan around the world, that they said, oh, look over here, so no one even knows that's a bill? You think it was an organic coincidence of timing that right as they started to have to remove the mask mandates and sign a new updated pandemic response plan that's international, that goes into effect in 2024, but was signed on March 1st, 2022, that no one knows? Russia, and they're just signing bills over here. They did the same thing with 9/11. They signed the Patriot Act, which literally says you don't get due process if you're suspected of national terrorism, which in 2022, the list includes constitutionalists, conservatives, You're a national terrorist. You don't get due process. Why is that even possible in America? Because they signed the Patriot Act. Everyone was scared, saw buildings fall, defied physics, didn't use their mind, acted out of emotion, and then they're like, "Yeah, we need to be safe. Oh, we need to be safe." I guess the part of it that's frustrating is actually it wouldn't work if you guys didn't believe it. That's the part. If they had this crazy power that couldn't be stopped, that'd be one thing. It's not like that. Like, they actually have to convince us to be compliant. That's the only way that they get anything working. It's the same thing with the currency system. It's like we have a fiat currency system. Paper, even though put on hemp, of course, is the only reason it lasts. It's not tangible wealth, right? But we believe in the system. We work. Our physical labor and belief in the system is what gives it actual value. It's the same with all the psyops. It's the same with all of it. The CIA admitted they run the mainstream news in the 70s. If you tell someone that now, they will automatically think you're crazy and that there's no way it's true. It's declassified Operation Mockingbird. Under oath in courts, the government refused to answer if news anchors were CIA agents and asked if they could continue the conversation behind closed doors. It's videotaped on oath. It's been 50 years since they did that. The CIA not only controls the media, they're amazing at it now. It's not like they infiltrated the media like they did in the 70s when you had real journalists still trying to speak the truth. They are the media now. I get it. We deliver uncomfortable truths on this channel. You're like, are you saying I can't wake up and drink my coffee and watch Bill O'Reilly? I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want to, but it's much better to maybe just inform yourself with truth and maybe get a relationship with the creator. You know, like, you do realize that the necessary antecedent to creation is a creator. That this place couldn't exist without a creator. It's not scientifically viable. There's no other way. You can ask anybody. Even if you think the earth is what they told you and they've been, couldn't exist without a creator. Let me give you an example. They've used the globe lie, the dinosaur lie, the evolution lie to create atheists, nihilists, materialists. But the ironic part is none of that could have happened without a creator either. It's more egregious. The sun and the moon appear to be the same size, but actually the moon is supposedly 1/400th the diameter of the sun. The sun's diameter is 400 times bigger than the diameter of the moon. But they just coincidentally look exactly like the same size. So we can have total eclipses perfectly. Because by random cosmic coincidence, the moon is also exactly 400 times closer than the sun. So they look like they're... If you believe that and you think it wasn't designed, it isn't viable. And that's you see the joke? You can't be a Freemason if you're an atheist. They don't even let you in. But you see the joke. You see the joke. The truth is the sun and the moon are the same size. One's for the day, one's for the night. This place was created, as were all the lights. The sun's not low enough, but if the sun was low enough, you'd see a local reflection on the water. Because the sun is made for the earth. It's a small local light. The point that I'm making is the same thing with the Big Bang Theory. People believe in the Big Bang Theory and think they're atheists, and they're science. There's religious people are science deniers. Dude, the Big Bang Theory was proposed by a religious priest named George Lemaitre, a Catholic priest. It was proposed from a religious viewpoint, the Big Bang Theory, and it says that there's a pre-existing energy. It still says there's a creator, bro. It says there's a creating energy that pre-existed everything. I guess the trick is to make you go on even more of a limb intellectually, but simultaneously be arrogant. Because I think natural law dictates that you can't successfully gain knowledge if you act like that. Yes, everything is voluntary. Yeah. I'm not gonna read it. So I guess the point I'm trying to make with the whole stream is like the war is just like the war on the mind, like the war on integrity, morality, bravery, right? It's like the famous quote, we've all heard it, like anyone that would sacrifice their freedom for security deserves neither. And America completely flunked that test for 2 straight years. Completely flunked it. And in fact, they flunked it starting in 2001. You know, when it's like, oh, well, our freedoms are not as important as the boogeyman. And then they came out and said, oh, there aren't actually weapons of mass destruction over there after all. But we kept the new laws, didn't we? We kept the new laws. 7 people with box cutters took over a plane, and they accomplished a piloting feat that no one in the history of piloting has ever been able to do. It's physically impossible. And then crashed one of the planes into the Pentagon, fitting it inside of a hole that literally couldn't physically fit a plane. And there was no plane debris. And the part of the Pentagon that got hit was the exact same area that had the documentation of all the trillions of dollars that were missing, coincidentally, announced the literal day before that, September 10th, 2001, by Donald Rumsfeld. $2.1 trillion mysteriously missing. Oh man, this area that had it documented mysteriously gets hit by a plane that's not a plane. What a coincidence. In 2022, probably only 20% of the population know that there was a 3rd building that collapsed in New York City on 9/11. Probably over 80% of the population do not know what World Trade Center 7 is. I think the point that I'm trying to make is what they want to do is they've censored us. They kicked me off the payment platforms. They've censored me. I can't even talk. I can't have doctors on this show. Like, it'll get deleted. You guys have seen it. Like, they attack the stream super hard, and then they get us where we sit in this little corner of the internet, right? And then we like trying to defend our worldview, justify our worldview to people that aren't spiritually ready for these truths. They can't see them. So you can't accomplish anything. And you're just sitting over here screaming at them. Well, the truth is, there are lots of people out there that are kind of honest. They just don't know. They actually don't know about World Trade Center 7. They did not know that 1 million troops were invading on the north in Russia during World War II. They did not know that the Gulf of Tonkin attack that justified Vietnam has been declassified as a false flag operation. The American government has admitted that we blew up our own ship, made it look like it was Vietnam so we could go to war. It's literally declassified and admitted to be a false flag operation, and that it was because we were in such a good tactical position we needed to take advantage of it. And they can still just do the same thing today. No one even know. The trick is that no one even knows it. They can come out and tell everyone, but no one knows it. Is that, I mean, if you're honest, you have to be like, yo, that's insane. That's insane. The government faked a war. America didn't want to go to Vietnam, bro. America said no. They had to convince them to support the war. They did a false flag attack. That's what spearheaded America's involvement in the Vietnam War, was the attack of Gulf of Tonkin. They've come out since and admitted they didn't actually attack our ship. We blew it up ourselves so that the American public would support us invading at that time. Sounds like some people we should trust. You can't. Most people haven't actually watched the moon landing footage in their adult life with any type of skepticism. You know, it's like most people have never watched the ISS have astronauts glitch out and out and then pull them up with harnesses, and literally their hands go through microphones, coffee cups, lemons, glitches, VR. Most people don't know that. Most people have never seen that the clouds don't change on the ISS live stream for just like consecutive days. They've never seen these things. That's the real battle, is not convincing people. It's just getting the real information out there to be acquired by those ready to see it. Those with eyes to see and ears to hear. And you let the dead bury the dead. And I think the trick and the sad part about the censorship is they put us in the corner, and then we fall for the trick. And we have these people that, some of them are just dishonest and basically zealots for the official narrative. But a lot of them just can't spiritually see it. They're not ready. It's like the creator's like, the creator probably thinks not everyone deserves to know the truth about the earth yet. Not everyone deserves it. Or maybe that's not the right word, but not everyone is equipped for that truth yet, right? It's like if there's a creator, which everything couldn't exist without one, and then that means he designed you and he exists outside of time. Okay, he can definitely prevent you from comprehending something if he doesn't want you to. We live in the internet age where knowledge is thrown around and people that don't deserve it attain it. And so he puts on blinders, in my opinion. I mean, because I've talked to people where they'll call me every name in the book, and then I calmly, respectfully talk to them. They end up admitting they don't know any of the subjects. They bring up any subject, I have to teach them about it. They admit they don't know anything about it, but they leave being like, I schooled that guy, flat earth is so dumb. He's just not spiritually ready to see it. So I think that if we can like regain clarity as to the bigger picture, the reason that we're in this war of truth and against propaganda and censorship and stuff like that is to get the information out. That like that's all that matters. You shouldn't get hung up on the people that, dude, if someone's gonna go wear a mask still, dude, just let them wear the mask. If someone wants to take 72 vaccines, dude, just let them take the vaccine. You know, just, like, it works so good. It doesn't matter. Like, whatever people want to do, you got to let it be. Right? I forgot that we're not on Rockfin. Hey, YouTube, am I allowed to talk about current events in the world? What you find is it's very liberating, and you because what happens, like when you find out some of this truth, you get real excited and you want to share it with people. In a way, you long for this confirmation, this exterior confirmation that you're not crazy, because the world's been set up like that, where like, dude, anyone that thinks the Earth's a ball has never went and physically measured the surface of the Earth ever. So like, if they just don't know it, it's not their fault, you know, like, but you're going to think it's crazy, or you're going to be scared to be considered crazy. And so you want exterior confirmation where like, you can be like, you didn't know that they claim that the blue marble picture actually isn't a real picture of Earth, and it's just a composite image, and that it's on NASA's website admitting that it's not a real picture at all, it's CGI, and that it was actually painted as well. You want them to be like, whoa, I've never heard that. There's no way that's true. Look it up. Be like, whoa, it is true. And you just want that confirmation that you're not crazy. And so you get real eager. And this is why flat earth and just different truths break up so many families and stuff. And it's sad, but it's because people really care about their loved ones. So they can't take no for an answer. They can't accept that they're not spiritually ready for some of these truths. So they just come at them sideways, left and right, always bringing it up. And like, they're not ready. What you'll find out is if you actually accept that the creator's in control, and maybe your ex-girlfriend isn't supposed to know the truth, maybe your dad's not ready, maybe your uncle's not ready, whatever, you let it go, and you're willing to be used to relay the truth to people that are ready. You'll find out you got plenty to do, bro. You're gonna have a full schedule. They're everywhere. It's never ending. You're just gonna try to keep up. Trust me, there are plenty of people. Either you can focus, you can talk to your uncle every Friday for 2 hours trying to convince him of stuff when he just literally isn't in the state of mind to be absorbent to information, or you can go spend 2 hours every Friday waking up 10 new people that actually want to know. And then your uncle sees you over time and eventually has to acknowledge certain things, eventually starts to ask you questions. And once they get to the point where they want to ask you questions, what were you saying about the second law of thermodynamics, not allowing pressure to be adjacent to a near perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr, because the pressure will instantaneously seek equilibrium and fill the available space. And in addition, how could you fly a rocket out there with no reciprocation of energy? How is it propulsion without reciprocation, without no medium? How can, you know, they'll start to ask you things. That's when you talk to them. And you plant the seed. If they don't ask the questions, you let it go. That's the war. The war is helping other people get to where you've gotten, and then still being allowed, like still being open to be helped. Like, none of us know everything, dude. The reason most people can't accept the earth thing is because they'll ask you, they want an answer for everything. They're like, okay, so what's outside of the earth? Well, no one's ever been there. So for them, that's not satisfactory, because a Nazi named Werner von Braun told them in the 60s they had been there. So if you can't compete with going there, then I have to believe what it is. It's like, okay, if I can't replace Santa Claus with a new story, then Santa Claus is real. Not everyone's ready for that. Like, it's not that easy for people, right? Because you're ripping away this like comfort they have of definitive knowledge and science. So you just kind of have to rock with people. But the main thing that I think is important is like also individual accountability. So like the wars are of the mind, the whole Ukraine-Russia thing, it might as well just be some 15-year-old with TikTok in a basement. Legit, I think it's that fake. But either way, it's just about getting you in a state of fear and distracting you away from anything that's important. Supporting different sides, you know, the polarity itself achieves what it needs to. Polarization of subjects is really all that matters. A subject doesn't matter. They would be very incompetent and stupid if they had an interest in controlling you to give you the right answer anywhere. Like, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. They put you in a confinement of two worldviews, or they tell you to pick one of two directions. Well, the truth is clearly in the center, man. I'm going right here to the truth in the center, so why would I go left or right? Oh, well, this one's better than that one. Okay. My ex that cheated on me 3 times is better than the one that cheated on me 10 times. Like, okay, cool story, bro. They're all cheating on you, though. You should find some girl that doesn't cheat on you. All war is fake. I'm not going to go that far. There's definitely real wars that have happened. But they're probably like from way back in the day, and we don't know the truth about them. See, I'm starting to really realize in my life that I understand why people can't handle this. You know, like, I think that's an important part to get to. Lag. Oh, well. I think it's important to get to that part, bro. But the individual accountability, that's what I'm trying to talk about. So, like, just like the scriptures tell you, like, we fight against, like, principalities and spiritual powers. This is the biggest thing that most people can't accept. And I covered it a couple streams ago a little bit. But there's a war inside everybody here, everyone that exists, a daily war. Now, many people will say, I'm a Christian. I said the word Jesus when I was 8. I don't have that anymore, or whatever. I don't know. Some people say crazy stuff. There is no religion. There is no amount of dresses and jewelry and money you can take. There's none of that will ever remove the fact that there is an internal war. That's what life is. That's what choice is. That's what free will is. That's what independence is. If there is no choice, you don't have independence. You always have the choice. You always have an opportunity that you could be shysty and manipulative and subversive and maybe make a little bit more money. Maybe get what you want to. Lie to them and get what you want to. Keep that out. Lie by omission. Act like this. Do that. I don't like this person. Let me do this. I could hurt this person like this. You every day, no matter what it is, there are different versions for each person relative to their journey and their growth, where they have to make the right decision. They have to choose to do the right thing. In a myriad of ways this happens, right? Like in every aspect of your life. It's like, I could make 10% more, but I think that wouldn't actually be right because I would have to be subversive. Or like the grabbers rubbing their hands together, just the word interest loan just gets them, like, on another level. But like, the individual decisions that you make daily is what it all boils down to. If you can't acknowledge that that's inside you, because there are a lot of people that they love to preach, dude. Like, oh, preach. And like, people interpret me as being preaching because I'm very assertive. I say my opinion. But I'm talking about just like where people are like, I got it all figured out. No one does, though. Even the Messiah said that no man is good. And this isn't like some mainstream way where, well, all sin's the same. And so you might as well just do whatever you want to because no one's perfect. No, it's like you constantly have to grow, but you do have the inner turmoil. It's like Satan, what people call Satan and the devil. Satan, Hebrew, means opposition. anything inside of you that proposes something opposed to truth or the creator, because the creator would be the embodiment of truth, although embodiment, insinuates physical limitation. But anyway, so the creator himself is the truth. We'll say embodied. So anything that you do to go against that or to oppose that would be Satan in Hebrew. In the scriptures, at one point, the creator refers to an angel he sent on behalf of him as Satan, opposition to the Hebrew people as punishment. The point I'm making is everyone's been brainwashed to remove their personal liability and put it on some boogeyman in the corner. So when you do something wrong, no, the devil made me do it. No, dude, you did it. You did it. You did it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest, bro. It's about being honest and growing and trying to do what's right. All these religions, there's 4,000 denominations. It doesn't seem like any of them can tell you that part. Anyway, the point that I'm making is the people that, I won't say they run the world, but they have lots of power. They adhere to natural law. Just like I told you, they won't let you be in their groups if you're an atheist. They consider atheism dumb. They don't. You have to acknowledge a higher power and design, right? Or they won't let you in. They won't let you in. They understand natural law. Okay, this is why they have to put the truth in plain sight. This is why they have to tell you that they're tricking you. This is why they have to. That NASA has to say that the picture's fake. You have to leave convincing yourself that it's real, lying to yourself, because they don't have responsibility for that. You lied to yourself. Natural law dictates that you did that. So when they blatantly force you to do stuff, they're scared of doing that because of natural law. Natural law is real. They just don't account for the metaphysical law. They don't account for the metaphysical consequence that'll happen that extends far beyond your physical life. But nevertheless, if you just apply natural law in this physical life, you get lots of power, because that's what is the most imminent. That's what's the most responsive imminently. So like if you want to control them or manipulate them, but you make them make the decision themselves, you remove a lot of the repercussion. People call it karma. For intents and purposes, you can call it that or whatever, right? It's a reciprocation of energy. Just like there's power of life and death in the tongues, because literally the vibration actually causes a reciprocation. You can't have energy without reciprocation. Write it down. You can't have energy without reciprocation. You cannot emit energy without it being reciprocated. They know this. They adhere to natural law. Okay, and they understand how the world works. They understand that every person has that inner turmoil. They call it dark and light, and they would say that the ultimate enlightenment, which is the illumination, the ultimate enlightenment is represented by the sun, right? Which is the perfect symbolism of enlightenment, so of oneself. And you overcome the duality of dark and light, good and evil, the inner turmoil that I'm discussing. So you see how they are right. There's inner turmoil. They acknowledge it. They got a bunch of people not acknowledging it. So they are right. They're evil. They choose to also master the dark. So therefore, it's the same thing. That's why they're so obsessed with the confusion of the gender. They believe that to metaphysically overcome or let's say evolve or transform, like alchemy of oneself, apotheosis, as they would call it, right? That you have to conquer the duality of life. And that includes even gender. They're actual psychopaths. But nevertheless, they understand that there's an inner turmoil. They understand that. So if you don't, wherever your books or your pastors or your YouTube videos or whatever have gotten you, wherever it's gotten you, if where you currently reside doesn't acknowledge you still have that, it's done you no good. It's actually a prohibiting variable. It's actually detrimental to you, because it's just going to fog your ability to grow. So I guess my point is, they, even with the propaganda and the psyops, like they know that's the point. The point is to get you to choose fear over faith. The point is to get you to throw logic out because of an emotional response of fear. And for example, they get you to do evil stuff because of selfishness. Selfishness derives from fear, and then evil derives from the selfishness. And that's why children have been suffocated for 2 years, even though science can provably show you a million different ways that should be 100% illegal. And it's because the parents are scared, and they're scared of whatever the story is. If it took them a year to realize the story was fake, they're scared of what other people will think. They're scared of going in the store and saying, no, I'm going to breathe oxygen today because it requires a society, like a social interaction, and they just want to blend in, go get their food from Whole Foods and dip. And I get it, but that's the problem. They've gotten you in a state of fear, and then convenience based on selfishness has left the most vulnerable and defenseless without protection, and that's the children. And now they're talking about 6 months. 6 months, bro. 6 months, bro. The fact they went down to 5 to 12 and no one did anything, it's just, bro, for us that actually do care, it's like we're being tortured, and then we just scream from the top of our lungs, and no one can hear us. I can't even have a Nobel Prize winning doctor on my show. My YouTube channel will get deleted. Oh, all science agrees. That's convenient when I bet they do. Like, literally no other scientist can talk, and it's hard to watch, I guess, is what I can relate to in the truther community. I get why people are frustrated because it's really hard to sit back and watch it, but it is what it is. Like, they're not the ones putting the masks on the children, bro. They're not. Everyone wants to blame everything on some exterior boogeyman to remove individual responsibility. You put it on them. You did it. You took them to a national park and put it on them. You took them outside to play and put it on them. You took them to school with it on. You did it. You did it. You bought them for them. You washed them for them. You have them wear them. You did it. You did it. Not the government, not some bad guy. You did it. They have to make it where you do it because of natural law, bro. They know what natural law is. This is like, have you ever read The Art of War? Maybe some of you guys should read The Art of War. Like, natural law isn't new. It isn't like a new idea. It's proven and timeless. It's objective. Like, did someone put a gun to your head and make you take your child in there to get that jabba dabba doo? We can't even say words anymore. I think I'm about to go to Rockfin. I'll finish the stream up on Rockfin where I can talk. You took them in there, bro. You took them in there. I guess that's the underlying thing that I'm trying to find different ways to express is, like, the whole trick of everything is to trick you into removing personal responsibility. Oh man, how dare these truckers or whatever, which is a psyop, clearly, whatever. Oh, Elon Musk just coincidentally came out getting ready to introduce his magic 18-wheelers that self-drive right when all the 18-wheelers, another coincidence. Elon Musk saved Ukraine. Oh, we can trust him. He wants to put a chip in your brain. Oh. Once you detach from it and like eat healthy and just consume good, the psyops are so hard not to see through. Do you think Alex Jones is a truther? I think he's controlled opposition. He's used to make anyone that steps outside the mainstream narrative be associated with crazy people. He just screams, I've got the documents. I've got the documents. He said a lot of truth. He's been proven right time and time again, but they did that on purpose, in my opinion, so that they could get a litmus test of what people would do once someone was on the record correct about tons of stuff for decades. But people still say it's crazy, but he is crazy. He's crazy because he's controlled opposition. He'll never talk about the earth. I know a producer that wanted to get me on the show, InfoWars, and I told her what I would do. And then I basically go in there kamikaze. I'm going to bring up all the topics that they don't talk about, that they're clearly told they can't talk about, like the Zionist state of Israel. Why is it all the Americans are afraid to talk about another country? Why is it that we have to worship some other country? He'll never talk about the earth. She told me that he had a meeting and sat all the employees down and said, anyone that continues to talk about flat earth will be fired. What a truther. What a truther. So do I think he's a truther? No, I think he's controlled opposition. I wouldn't say that he leads you to see what they want you to see. I see what you're saying, but they don't really even want you to see what Alex Jones says. But Alex Jones is there because if you do manage to go find him and start watching him, like the only way that they're cool with you getting the info, that they'll stamp it, is if it comes in the form of fear. And that's all he does. People are going to kick in your house, kick in your door with guns and needles. And no, they're not, Alex. No, they're not. Can you do some sit-ups for me, though, bro? Can you stop screaming so much? Like, dude, you know, you should be more worried about a heart attack, bro. He's afraid of flat Earth. I can't respect anybody that has been shown the information and lies about the Earth, bro. You don't even have to say what it is. You have to admit something's fishy, and what they told us isn't true. If you actually get that far in it, or I can't trust you as a person. So, it was genius how the Jews got all the Christian-based religions to worship. Yeah, that's hilarious. I will say that everyone seems to be friends with one group of people. Everyone agrees you can't talk about one group of people. I don't know what's up with that. That's weird. Alex Jones is such an actor. That's why he's always screaming. Yeah, it's literally a character to make. It's a character of a conspiracy theorist. But what I've found, dude, is like telling people like basic truths gets you really far. Like with the normies. Like, did you know that fluoride is put in all of our water and it's a neurotoxin? And it's an ingredient found in rat poison. It hasn't been proven to have any type of ingestion benefit. In fact, topical is very minimal to none. And it's been proven to be a neurotoxin. And irreparably damage, the brain. So, like irreparably damage it from growing. We should probably put fluoride in infants' water. Like, I know a lot of people that started waking up because they found out about fluoride. All right, let me see. I think that's what I got. I'm going to go to Rockfin and finish my little take on here. So, yeah, it's been cool. Basically, the idea of the stream is pretty simple, bro. Like, dude, just admit that you have inner turmoil, and every day you wake up where you're stepping into battle. Like you're going to war against evil and against what's wrong, bro. Like, it's not even against lies. Like, you're a warrior of truth. Like, and I think right now it's getting crazy because I think the creator is picking people out and literally throwing them in different battles in the war. And that's what I'm like pretty much 100% positive about with what's going on with me in the court thing. I guess I'll tell you that. I'll tell you about the war that I'm in. And then I'm going to close up Rockman. But yeah, so the attorney on the other side, I filed a motion to dismiss for facial invalidity, meaning it's unconstitutional on its face. And he contacted me and said he needed some more time to respond. And he motioned for continuance, and it was granted. I told him I was cool with it if he had more time. Because he's supposed to have 14 days. He only had 12 days. So he called me, and I was like, yeah, my bad. I don't care if you need a little bit more time, bro, to respond to it. And so that's where we're at now. And then the judge gave a clarifying order about deadlines and stuff, and did nudge them to give the discovery I asked for. So cool. That's where we're at with that one. I have about 5 cases going on that I'm working on, and then I'm trying to help a couple other people out with their cases as well. It's very, very time consuming. That's why I started this. Right up. Oh, I said, just stop branding. I said, do everything for free. First Amendment represented, baby. PayPal.me/inaworld. And then people have been asking for this too. So if you do want to send something, try not to send really big things. If you want to send like letters, kind of like what Owen does, or something that's kind of small, you can send it here. Just keep in mind though that we might have to get it forwarded from here, based on where we are. So anyway, now. So yeah, there you go. 514 America's Way, PNB 17789, Fox Center, South Dakota, 57719. What's up, pretty here, dude? In a world where no one knows what the world is, but they think it lost space and which world they. I wonder why the surface of the Earth's never curving. All right, so there it is. I'll show it again. People been asking for PO Box for so long, man. And what I'm gonna do is like I know a lot of people trigger, but it's like whatever. I want us to make a bunch of music that's just bangers, and then we're just gonna get it out there. We're gonna get it on iTunes and all that. That just takes time and effort, right? So we want to do that. We want to start the content thing where I'm thinking about maybe I'll go do activism on certain days, and like so like Friday flat, whatever, do on certain days, and then like certain. I want to still mix in my early streams before I come and chat with you guys and give you guys updates like this. And then I'll do my specific streams. I'll let you guys know when the clones thing's coming, when the Tartaria type thing is coming, my take on how they use the energy, whatever the next subjects are. I want to do a WitsitGetsIt thing where I have a guest on, and then maybe once a week a WitsitGetsIt where I let you guys just call in. We just talk like that. So that's a whole bunch. And I want to work on like creating a page for all of it, and we want to basically go back into traveling and doing activism. Set up a page for that. And you know that we're getting married on the 18th, and then I have all this court stuff going on simultaneously. So, you know, yeah, basically all that is my job, you know, and I just know that we're good. The creator will take care of it. But what I'm thinking about though is like having a different account for each thing, like a different big account, like for like the court side, little debit card. For I don't know about the wedding, but if someone wants to donate for that, or you can just specify what it is, you know. But oh yeah, okay. So we should still be free on Rockfin though, so everybody knows. And I'm gonna end the YouTube, and I'm gonna just finish up at Rockfin, but it will be kind of shorts, just so you know. All right, so I love you guys. Oh dang, I don't want to miss donations though. I hope I didn't miss like super chats or something. Sorry, you know, I just get to talking, bro. Look, I'll get them all checked. I'll get everything checked, and then I'll read them off. So if you send anything, like, for example, the ones that were sent last time, like, I'll still read those off as well because there really hasn't been much sent. So I'll read them all off. I'll read them all off for the next stream. I want to figure out the best way to read them. I guess really the best way is like as you send them live, I'll read them, or like as you send them throughout that stream, I read them all at the end of the stream. So I think after the stream is what we're gonna do. It's like anything sent, like I'll read them off all at the end. So send it knowing that, and we'll have like that way people can come get the gravy, learn about whatever it is, because it'll be subject specific again now that we actually have internet. And that's like it's way too fast for there to be any connection issues. So, you know, and even my devices here have like 200 megabits download, pretty crazy. So we should be super good on that. So cool. We're gonna go to Rockfin where we talk about it a little bit more candidly. But yeah, you guys know the deal. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. You know, the weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance, but you know, strong-willed individual thinkers do not have to comply to societal pressure or ostracism. In fact, they should actually take that as a sign that they're doing the right thing and maybe over the mark. And I like that phrase because it seems as if we are approaching the season of the end, and maybe you need to just create your entire world to be aimed at the very particular idea and goal of aiming above the mark. You know, because that's what they're normalizing you for with this digital tracking system, that they want to remove any type of physical exchange so that they can have a QR code digital tracking system that's encrypted, that's completely publicly available and accessible at all times. If you don't notice that's what's going on, then
I don't know where you've been for 2 years. But anyway, believe it or not, the whole passport thing is not just going to disappear because Russia came and decided to be in the world script for their turn. Oh man, Russia's reading their part of the script off now. Let's freak out. So I'm going to catch up with you guys on Rockfin. I hope I end this correctly. If I don't, I don't. But anyway, catch up with you maybe tomorrow. I think I'm also going to set up a debate. So I have a debate setting up. We just have a bunch of stuff going on, man. I'll try to get it all organized with you and get it out there, but brother, be busy because I got to go work on these documents after the stream as well. So, yeah, anyway, peace out on YouTube. We're going to go talk where the big boys can talk.